Hey everybody, it's Justin from Small World Gaming. Holy cow, it has been a long time since I've recorded anything or made a video, and I'm super excited to be back. So, you're probably asking, what the hell happened? If you actually watch some of my battle reports and old videos, I even had a channel long time ago that's no longer up, but I was for a short period of time when 8th edition came out making a few videos and some battle reports, and I just kind of disappeared. So, a number of things happened. Kind of changed gaming groups, which made things a little bit more difficult. And then I got a new job, so I was working along with Uber probably like 60 hours a week. So I couldn't do anything to be honest. I don't do commission painting or anything anymore. Thank God. That was a really bad time for me, to be honest. And but I'm excited to be back. I'm hoping to make a lot of videos. You know, I've been doing a lot of things in the Warhammer community. Since I've been gone, I'm really pushing the Colorado competitive scene as much as I can, and I think it's going really good. We held the first GT in Colorado in a number of years. I ran that just a few months back. We have another one coming up in August, which is going to be super fun. And, you know, I'm still playing my AdMech. AdMech is definitely my main army, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. But, you know, with these videos, I'm running a podcast as well. That's going to be starting up this weekend. It's going to be a weekly thing, but I wanted to do a YouTube series. So if you watch Chapter Master Valrek, or if you watch Kurioth, or maybe, you know, the old War Master videos, or you know, any one of those kind of guys that do like their daily videos, they talk about things in the meta and they talk about stuff going on in Warhammer. That's kind of what I wanted to start doing as well. I think I'm probably a little bit more on the competitive side than those guys, so I think I'm going to be doing a lot of meta talks, maybe some list building, and other things like that. I do believe I'm the #1 AdMech player in the ITC right now. If the Bug Eater scores have been put in, not sure. So it'd be cool if I am. I do plan on winning Best AdMech Player at the end of the season, so I will let you know how that goes. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll find out, right? But today, yes, I want to talk about Fires of Cyraxus. Uh-oh, shoot. Reset the clock, guys. I said it. Sorry. What a wait it has been to get that book, right? I think they announced it 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and pretty much nothing since. There hasn't been a single leak, nothing. All we got was some pictures, which were cool pictures. You know, they showed the Thanatar siege engine, the Trios conveyor, a few other models from the 30k line fighting alongside the 40k line. So everybody's assumption was that all the 30k stuff will be moved into 40k, and I think that is still going to be the case from what we heard at the Warhammer World. So but they delayed it again. First they're going to be putting out Talons of the Emperor, which is cool. I do have some Custodes, Sisters of Silence. I don't own any Grey Knights. I used to play Demon Hunters back in the day, but I'm excited for those rules. That'll be fun. But that's coming out before Fires of Cyraxus now. So they said the end of the year. I honestly don't think it'll be by the end of the year. Sorry to get your hopes up, but I think they're going to push it back again. I mean, their lead writer died. That really sucked. A few other things happened. 8th edition obviously came out. It's been a year now, so... But one thing that was really cool that I came across on the internet, and what we're mainly going to talk about today for this first video, is the fan-made rules for Fires of Cyraxus. So somebody has taken what I can only imagine is a shit ton of time and brought out every 30k unit and updated its rules for 40k. And as far as I can tell, it's pretty freaking balanced. I don't see anything crazy in there. It all looks pretty fun. It's all, like I said, pretty balanced. Nothing like, you know, things that do sound crazy have some rules to kind of tone them down. And they've got points for everything as well, along with power level, which is really nice. There's some units I obviously don't think are going to make it into the real book. But if you've got a whole big Mechanicum army, I own a few units. If you've got this big Mechanicum army and you're wanting to try out some stuff and your opponents are okay with it, I think this is actually a pretty good rule set that you could use. So without further ado, let's go ahead and switch over. We'll get the screen capture going, and we'll take a look at some of these units. Now, I'm not going to go into all the detail of every one. There's a lot of weapons in here. I really don't want to go over all of them. I'm going to skim through most of it. I actually made this video already this morning and then realized that my microphone here was on mute. So I'm remaking the entire video now, which I think it was 40 minutes long, 45 minutes long, and then realized it was on mute, which is why I have these headphones on now, because now I can hear myself talk and I know it's not on mute. So if there's no audio at the end of this, I'm going to be very, very upset. But I think we should be good. So let's go ahead. We're going to switch over and we'll take a look at these units. Now, talking about a little wish listing for Fires of Cyraxus that this does not have. First is actual rules for the Cyraxus Forge World. So we have all the other Forge World dogmas, what Mars, Styges, you know, Lucius, Metallica, what all those do. But I want a 7th set of Forge World dogmas for Cyraxus. What those might be, I have no freaking clue. I don't even know what the lore of Cyraxus is, what they're supposedly good at. All I know is they've apparently gone down to the garage. They've pulled out some old Mechanicum units and said fight. So we'll see what they do. Now, the first unit that you're looking at here is the Archmagos Prime. And if you're wondering what that is, well, it's essentially Call. Call with a little bit worse stats. Instead of 8-inch move, he's got 6. Instead of 8 wounds, he's got 6. He's toughness and strength 5 instead of 6. Still a 2-up save. He has a metric shit ton of weapons, though. So he doesn't come with much. He's got the axe. Bleh, it's just regular axe. Mechadendrites, not that great. Flamer's okay. Plasma pistol, don't know why. And a Volkite Serpenta. But if you look through here, he can replace and then take just about every fucking weapon in this book. So I don't know how that's supposed to work. He can take a freaking jetpack. Does that change his movement to 12? Because that would make him awesome. Like, I don't know. And then he's got all these other guns. Pretty freaking crazy. He's got the same rule as Call. You can add or subtract one when rolling for the Canicles. He's got a 5-up invul save. He can heal himself D3. He can heal another model D3. You can reroll failed hit rolls in the shooting phase, so kind of like Call. It's not as good as Call, though, because Call can just reroll all hit rolls. This guy only rerolls failed hit rolls. There's a big difference there, especially when you're looking at pluses and minuses to hit. So if you're shooting, you know, at a Laytok or something like that. So he's pretty good. I think the points, I want to say he was at like 145, but that's without any weapons. I did not take the time to add up what all the possibilities that this guy could be. He's probably going to be just as expensive as Call. He's at least 240, I would think, after all these weapons, because they do cost points. So that's like the Drakeovic model, I do believe that he's pictured here. But yeah, pretty good. You know, it's you want Call, but you don't want to take Mars. This is your guy. Same guy here, Archmagos Prime on an Abeyant. If you're not familiar with what an Abeyant is, it's that thing. It's a pretty neat little model. I actually own one of these. I used it as a Dart Mechanicum character from the Forge World Index on Abeyant, so worked pretty well. Everything else is pretty much the same, except for he has this Photon Thruster, I think, which comes from the Abeyant itself. Each time you make a wound roll of 6. This rule comes up quite a bit. Each time you make a 6+ wound roll for this weapon, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any other damage. And then there's this one here. Each time you make a wound roll of 6+, this weapon scores an additional automatic hit. Those two rules come up a lot in this book, so I'm not going to read them all the time. The Mechadendrites are a little bit different than Calls. He just an extra D6 attacks. This one here is each hit roll of a 6+ causes 3 hits. They're okay. These guys aren't anything special in combat. Really not even that special in shooting. They're just there to buff your army. So, continuing on. Cybernetica Dominus. If you are going to play with these rules and you're going to bring some robots, especially if you're going to bring some Thanatar siege engines, you're going to want this guy. And pretty much for one thing only. He's a standard character for all intents and purposes. 3-up, 3-up, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength and toughness 4, 4 wounds, 2-up save, which is nice. He doesn't do anything in combat or shooting, but what he does do is any Forge World unit with a Cybernetica keyword within 6 inches of one or more of Cybernetica Dominus adds +1 to hit rolls. And we'll talk about why that's so good. Because most of these Cybernetica models have dated protocols, just like the Castellan robots do. And when you shoot twice and you get +1 to hit, pretty freaking good. So, yeah, that's why you want, I would say, at least one of these guys if you're going to be playing with some of these models. Secutarrii Axiarch, I don't think he's worth taking. He should have been in the Codex to begin with. Essentially, he's your Secutarrii Prime if you're familiar with the Mechanicum lore. Essentially, there are HQ units in the Secutarrii. This would be who that guy is. He lets you advance a little bit farther with your Secutarrii units, but he's really there to buff your Titan Guard. Unfortunately, Titan Guard are not worth taking in this book. Other than that, standard character. This guy, I'd say, is worth taking. He's basically your apothecary for AdMech. he does the exact same thing Apothecary does. On a 4-up, you get a guy back, or you heal D3 wounds. But if you take Tech Thralls, which are one of my favorite units, you get D3 models back. So that's pretty cool. He's got a 5-up invul save, standard character stats. Pretty much the same as anything else. And then robot time. This is the first robot they show in here, the Domitar. I don't think he's that great. He's not really meant for shooting. He's actually meant for close combat as far as I can tell. I think they're missing out on something here because he's got these big guns on his model, right? I own a few of these. But he doesn't have the guns in his profile. He just has the missile launcher on top, which if you're unfamiliar with the model is right back there. There's a missile, like a little missile pack. He's got standard protocols for robots. He's got a 5-up invul and 6-up in close combat. And when he completes a charge, every unit within 1 suffers a mortal wound on a 4-up. So, okay. All units must subtract 2 from charge rolls when targeting this model. That's pretty good. The Graviton Hammer is really good. I mean, he makes him straight 14, AP minus 3 damage, but he's sitting on a 4-up, so yeah, I don't know. I don't see a lot of uses for him, to be honest. He's tough. He's got 8 wounds. Yeah. Secutarrii and the other Secutarrii, I really don't like these models personally, but they are pretty much beasts. They've got a lot of guns, a lot of melee. I don't even know. I don't know what purpose they serve, to be honest. If you throw them a bunch of these guys in a transport, I could see them being good. Or maybe like infiltrating them with Styges. That might work. So a lot of these units have the option to take twin IRAG cleansers, which are really good flamers because they have a 3 damage straight flamer at 9 inches. Super good. Other than that, see, I don't get this part here. He's got a 15-inch or an 18-inch gun, but if you don't move, then you get to fire twice. It's kind of not the gun you want with that rule, if you get what I'm saying. You want a long-range gun. You don't want to have to be moving to use this rule. So, I don't know. I don't see their use. They're okay. Peltis, I'm not going to go over. Hoplites, I'm not going to go over. A couple of reasons. I don't think they're actually going to be in the book. Supposedly, forgeworld said that they were not going to be included in Fires of Cyraxus. I don't know why. That seems really weird to me. A lot of people own these models. I even own some. They're just not good. You can take if you want to screenshot or pause or do whatever, you can take a look at this, but they're just not that good. The hoplites are a little bit better because they can reroll 1s to wound. They have a 5-up invul instead of a 6-up. Nothing crazy though. Once again, if you want to screenshot this or pause it, go right ahead. I'm just not going to spend a lot of time on these guys. Tech Thralls are good though. And you might say, what's good about them? They hit on 5-ups and they've got 1 wound and they're T3 and a 5-up save. And, oh, rapid fire 1 guns at 18-inch range. Not great, right? But the fact is, I think there are 3 points in this, 3 freaking points per model in this book. And you could take 30 of them in a unit. So 90 points for 30 guys. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially if you have a tech priest next to them, because then their ballistic skill and weapon skill goes up to 4-up and their leadership 9. There is not a lot in this game that's leadership 9 anymore. It's definitely not 10. So making these guys leadership 9 with like 30 guys in a unit that are all hitting on 4-ups with assault 3 guns or rapid fire 1 guns, I think that's pretty good. And you bring that Fleshsmith with them, you're healing D3 of them a turn. I like it. I think if these guys actually come into Fires of Cyraxus, and if they're anywhere near this, you're gonna see a lot of them. I'd certainly take like 90 of them. I don't care. Yeah, I'd love it. Castellax Battle Automata. Here's another unit I don't want to spend a lot of time on, and here's why. First, we already have Castellans, and the Castellan is like the upgrade from the Castellax, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe they're just completely different. But it's just a Castellan. That's all it is. Same protocols, same rules. It's got the automatic shielding, which is a little bit different, but it's got heavy phosphor blasters. I don't see a reason for this to actually come into 40k. So if you want to pause it and look at that, go right ahead. The Cyraxus Guardian Automata are basically servitors, but with a really cool rule. They have the bodyguard rule. Roll a d6 each time a friendly Mechanicus character suffers a wound. If you roll 3 up, the character does not suffer the wound, but this model takes a mortal wound. So they are the shield drones of Mechanicum. And they're pretty cool models. I really like the models. You can take up to 8 in a unit. which is nice. I wish they would take wounds for other things too. So if you take a look at Tau, you'll see like they'll take the Yavara and they'll put a bunch of shield drones around it. And then not only can their characters use those shield drones, but any of their battle suits or pretty much anything can take shield drone wounds. I wish these guys worked for anything, because I'd put a ton of them around a Thanatar siege engine. And basically we'd have a Tau, shooting a guy with shield drones. It'd be pretty cool. So they have a lot of guns they can take, which is nice. Basically, they're servitors. Yeah. Oh, and they reduce the toughness of any models that are within 1 inch. I don't think you want them within 1 inch of anybody though. So yeah. Thallax cohort. These guys are there's 2 units in this book that are from 30k Mechanicum, and they're the shooty versions of the deep strike guys. And really, you want to be taking these guys rather than infiltrators. Infiltrators just suck. I mean, rust doctors suck even more, but infiltrators are bad. Like the wind blows next to them and they all die. They're just that bad. These guys, however, you can take up to 9 in a unit. They're 3 wounds a pop, and they have a 5-up feel no pain. They don't suffer the penalty for firing heavy weapons, and they ignore cover. Jetpack assault, throw them in deep strike, super good, and they move 10 inches on their own. I like that. These are the shooty versions. I think I probably prefer the shooty versions over the close combat weapons, because the close combat ones, as you'll see below, just have lightning claws. So yeah. Oh my God! It's an AdMech transport. The apocalypse has come, guys. AdMech transports. So these are obviously been in Mechanicum for quite some time, but yeah, it's a pretty good transport. It's 14 freaking wounds, T8. It's got a damn good melee, 6 attacks, strength +1, AP -3, D3 when you charge, not bad. Volkite charger's okay. Twin heavy phosphor blasters, we know what those do. It's got a 5-up feel no pain, which I think all the vehicles in here have, which is really good. And it can transport 12 guys, heavy infantry, and then it can't transport the jetpack or jump pack guys, so not these guys. Here's your close combat versions of the jetpack guys. A lot cooler models, in my opinion. They're just not, I don't see them being as useful. So they have lightning claws, 3 attacks apiece, still 3 wounds apiece, with 5-up feel no pain, so they're certainly not bad. They do have crushing impact. When they charge, they can do a mortal wound. That's okay. It really comes down to how many points do these guys cost. If they're points efficient, then sure, take them. They're better than it. I guarantee it that they're better than infiltrators. So, continuing on. Vorax Scout Automata. Now, these guys are probably my favorite unit in this rule set that he's created. They get a little bit different protocols. They have a stealth protocol, which is in effect from turn 1. You subtract 1 from all hit rolls against them. They're T6, 6 freaking wounds apiece. They don't have an invul save. Oh, they do have an invul save. Sorry, they have a 6-up invul save from Bionics. And they have forward observer. So at the start of your first battle round, but before the first turn begins, you can move this unit up to 9 inches. That's super good. You know how much of a pain in the ass it is to take a freaking Space Marine battalion just so you can get scouts? Because that's what I do right now in my my competitive list. I have a Blood Angels battalion just so I can have freaking scouts. Because I need places to put my Electro Priests when they drop. If I had these guys, I could actually do something. Woo! You do this at the start of the first battle round before it begins. You do this before you drop your Electro Priests. Super good. So, I really like these guys. Their guns are good. Rapid fire 6, 12 shots a pop. Especially if you throw them in Protector protocols, 24 shots a pop. They have lightning guns and power blades, which are nice. They're no slat. I mean, the 4 attacks, D3 damage apiece. That's pretty good. I really like these guys. They are expensive though. I think it's like, it's certainly, I think they might be 80 or 90 a model. So, but they're good. The Voltarax, finally a flyer. AdMech needs a flyer. Once again, this guy's been in Mechanicum for a while, and I own this model. 5-up invul against shooting. Okay, sure. Stratos protocols. Basically, if he's in the Hunter protocol, he ignores the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. It should probably have that rule to begin with, but it's okay. He's actually got some decent combat. So he's got 3 attacks. Each hit roll with a 6 causes 3 hits instead of 1. AP -2, D3 damage. That's not bad. His guns are pretty decent, especially if you're firing out of a vehicle. D6 damage each. Strength 8, AP -2, 3 shots. The Havoc Launcher is good at clearing chaff, I think. He's all around pretty good. I don't see any downside to taking him other than how many points he may cost. So I like him. The Cyraxus Assault Tank, I don't really see a reason for bringing. It's got this gun that can ignore line of sight. It's okay. Heavy 3D3 is pretty good. He's got a 5-up, feel no pain, 14 wounds, T8. He's expensive though, so I don't know. Make a judgment call. Let me know what you think. This guy's okay. He's basically your Lehman Russ of the AdMech. He's got a lightning cannon, heavy 6, strength 7, AP -1, D3 damage, and a wound roll of a 6 is AP -3 instead, and the damage 3. It's pretty good. 5-up, feel no pain again, T7, 12 wounds. I like it. Wish he had more guns. That's all. This is your other big cannon. You can reroll damage rolls of 1 for this weapon, D6 damage, strength 9, heavy 4. It's only 36-inch range though, so other than that, same rules. T7, 12 wound, 5-up, feel no pain. The feel no pain on all these guys is pretty good. This guy I really like. This is essentially your, I guess you could call it like a Land Raider Excelsior of the Mechanicum for a few reasons. He's got 16 wounds, he's T8, he's got a 5-up, feel no pain, I think still. Yeah, he's got the flare shield. I don't see an invul save on him though, so yeah. But he's got a 2-up save, so it doesn't really matter. He's got a lot of weapons you can tank. I think he's just normally equipped with like a Phosphor Blaster, and yeah, Phosphor Blaster, 2 last cannons. But he's got the servo rig. If a Tech Priest is inside, the Tech Priest can heal him while he's inside. That's awesome. This guy's not dying. And he's got an Explorator Augury Web. Roll a 2d6 if your Warlord's inside. If you roll less than your Warlord's leadership, you gain a command point. We need more ways to get command points. This is a great way to get command points. I think this thing's pretty freaking expensive though. I think he's more than a Land Raider, to be honest. Especially if you give him any of these good weapons. So, once again, what are you doing with him, right? Like, sure, he's tough, but do you kill anything with him? He's got some last cannons. Yeah. Myrmidon Destructors, not a fan of the models again. They're just the shooty versions of what we looked at before, I'm pretty sure. You can reroll failed wound rolls of 1 when making shooting attacks. You can only advance D3, but they ignore the penalty for firing heavy weapons. They're okay. I don't know if I'd ever take them. I mean, looking at the guns, depends on how many guns each one of these guys can have. I think they can only have 1. Yeah, so they can change their Volkite, Culverin. Yeah, I don't know. Not a fan. Thanatar Siege Automata. Here's the big one on the picture, right? So he's pretty freaking good. He's T8. He's 14 wounds. He's got a shit ton of wounds. He's not bad in combat. He's strength 16 in combat. AP -3 for 3 damage, 4 attacks. This Helix Plasma Mortar is super good. Heavy 2d3 shots. Strength 8, AP -3, 3 damage. Ignores cover, and it doesn't need line of sight. I mean, that's super good. And here's why it's super good. By itself, meh. It's okay, right? 4 shots. But you're going to have this guy in Protector Protocol all the time. And he's going to shoot twice. He's going to double the number of... so he's going to do heavy 43 shots. And heavy 43 with this weapon is really good, especially against people that aren't visible to you line of sight. And here's the other thing. You're going to take that guy I talked about earlier that gives these guys, because he has the Cybernetica keyword, +1 to hit. So now he's hitting on 3s. And then you're going to take a Tech Priest, your Archmagos, and then he's re-rolling all of his hits. That's what makes these guys super good. And then you're going to take like 2 or 3 of these things. I think they are like 240, maybe 240 points a pop with their weapons. But I would say super worth it. They're just killing things. Like a lot of things. So I like it. This is the same thing, but he's got the big cannon. The cannon's got a pretty cool rule, but I wish it would have just done like 3d6 damage, not only if you roll a 6. So 3 to 5, you get an extra dice, so 2d6 damage, and on a 6 you get 3d6. Otherwise, it's just d6, 1 shot, meh. Okay. It's got a 5-up invul, explodes on a 5-up, battle protocols, pretty normal. So. This guy, I don't know why you'd ever take him. Maybe I'm missing something. Don't like it though. So you can pause that if you want to look through it. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the units. So these are all the weapons. If you want to look through them, you can pause this. I'll scroll back and forth a little bit. More weapons. More weapons. There's a lot of weapons in here. More weapons. Yeah, there's a lot. The points values. This is probably where you all really want to pause and actually maybe take a screen capture of this. I'm not going to go over all these points, but I think they're pretty balanced. I've looked through them. I've calculated the points on some of this stuff. I think your Archmagus are still going to come out to call level, essentially. The Cybernetica Dominus at 57 is pretty good. He's got like an axe, which might be 0 points, I think. So you definitely want him with those Thanatar Siege Engines if you're going to be running these rules. That Plasma Mortar is 45, so it's going to make that Thanatar Siege Engine, I think, maybe 240 total with his weapons. I'm not sure. And then there's some more weapons here. And then the melee weapons. Yep. So, and that's pretty much it. I don't know why these guys are included. They're the 30k characters. I don't think they would actually be in 40k anymore. If they're alive, let me know. But I don't think they would be included in a 40k rule. So, yeah, that's it. So let's go ahead, switch back over. What do you guys think? Something you would use at all, maybe? Would you ask an opponent to be able to play these rules? Would you be okay with your opponent playing these rules? Obviously not at a tournament. We know that. Not in a match play kind of sense, but narrative open play with points. I mean, I guess you could do a match play and use the points. But if it's a casual game, I totally want to play them. Yeah, I'd totally be okay with my opponent playing them too. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm super excited for Fires of Cyraxus to maybe come out one day. You know, once the maybe 12th edition of 40k comes out. I think that might be around when it comes out. So, in the meantime, I'm going to keep collecting 30k models, and eventually when it does come out, I might be able to use some of them. Knowing our luck, though, with Mechanicum, they'll be like, oh, we added 1 unit for 30k. That's the whole book. Here you go. It's $100. Yeah, don't get me started on that. So, all right, guys, start collecting your 30k Mechanicum because you're going to need them. So, if you've tried any of these out, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you want me to try some of them, maybe make a video. That'd be pretty cool. Let me know what you think. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.